What is Disruptor? Chances are you have no idea. I didn't until this week. After completing the original Spyro trilogy, I did a little research, and it turns out that while the developers of the Spyro games, Insomniac Games, were most well known for the Spyro games on the PS1, they actually weren't the first games that Insomniac made. In 1996, Insomniac released a shooter called Disruptor. Originally designed for the 3DO, it was later switched to the PlayStation. While it was not a commercial success, it did receive critical praise, and it enabled them to go on to make the Spyro games, which thankfully were more successful. I was curious, so I decided to give the game a whirl, and it's pretty good. Definitely not perfect, and unlike the Spyro games, it hasn't aged completely well, but I liked it. I don't know what the storyline of the game is, because when I realized that the game uses live-action cutscenes, I immediately skipped them. If you're going to have cutscenes, use the in-game graphics. Don't do this. Even if the cutscenes are great, which they're usually not, it doesn't fit with how the rest of the game looks, so it's just needlessly distracting. Maybe the narrative is great, maybe it's terrible, don't know, don't care. When it comes to the gameplay, it's fairly similar to Doom. You collect guns, unlock doors, and shoot the baddies until you make it to the end of the level. In addition to the guns, you also get these abilities called psionics, which adds a little more strategy to the gameplay other than just shoot the dudes. The environments are well designed and nicely varied, and while the game as a whole isn't as good as Doom, I will say that it looks more interesting than Doom. It does have its annoyances. The draw distances are really bad sometimes. In some areas it's more effective to just run around the enemies rather than fighting them, and you'll only figure that out after dying multiple times, and the game is kind of stingy with supplies. But I quite enjoyed it, so if you're into this type of shooter, I'd say give it a go. When it comes to the evolution of the FPS, Disruptor is somewhere between Doom and Half-Life, though it's not as good as either of those games. I will say that it's better than GoldenEye though. Yeah, I said it. So if you like retro shooters, or if you're curious to see what Insomniac was up to before Spyro, this is a game worth checking out. My final score is a 7 out of 10. So what do you think? Have you played Disruptor? What's your favorite old school shooter? Whatever you think, be sure to let me know in the comments below. If you like what I do, feel free to subscribe and follow me on Twitter. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.